Hey, pussy, are you still there?
I actually admire that you can actually be this fake. And like when the TV comes on, how you can just change. You're the scum of the earth.
Don't doubt you, miss, I couldn't do it. The odds that I couldn't do it. Look at me now. Level there. Pound for pound. Headshot dead. That's it.
What's everybody up to? Welcome back to another episode of Over the Octagon. Back with another fighter interview. Some of our favorite episodes that we do. Tonight we're joined by undefeated Bantam or Bantam, depending on who you ask. Bantamweight Andrew Valdina, fighting through Cage Titans.
Yes,
Andrew,
sir.
what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, fellas. How you guys doing?
Just another day in paradise.
Great.
Glad
I think
to
it's
have
the
you
Super
on.
Bowl of fighting this week. If you're a fight fan, it's the Super Bowl. So it's hard for anybody not to be excited about fighting this week.
Oh man, card's absolutely stacked. I can't wait for it.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
So obviously, you know what he's talking about. For anybody listening, we're recording this on Thursday night. UFC 300 is this weekend. They're juiced. I'm going to an event in Atlantic City tomorrow night. A fight event for Cage Fury tomorrow night with a bunch of guys. It's just we're jam packed this weekend. With just dudes punching each other in the face. It's going to be sweet. But yeah, man. So anybody that's watching this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, do us a favor, rate the show. Trying to get our listeners up on the audio only episodes, trying to get them up as well. But Andrew, man, welcome. Thank you for coming on.
My pleasure, brother.
We've watched a few of your, I guess probably your last two fights last year on Cage Titans. You're currently 4-0.
Yep.
You're kind of, we just interviewed one of your teammates this week as well, Joe Poirier. And so talk to us about that first. Like you guys, and we asked him the same question. I mean, you guys are really, building kind of a group of killers up there. Talk to us about like kind of the impact that has and what that's been like kind of training around all those guys.
Man, it's been a huge game changer, honestly, in my whole fight career. I actually just recently, switched gyms to New England Cartel and Mom's Basement full time now. So just being around people, like Calvin, Rob, Connor Matthews, all these UFC guys, man. Chris Matino's in that room. He's a killer. Carlos Lazoya, like every single name. Tom Pagliarulo, Nick Fiore. Yeah. I can name all these names, man. I'm just getting like the best work around, and I'm very thankful for it. I can already feel the difference just with half a year, if that, of training with them now consistently. So it's been great. And Joe Poirier, man, like you guys had him on. He's a little scumbag, isn't he?
Yeah.
But no, he's a good shit, man. He's my boy, and we're like he's my main training partner. We're so close in weight, so it all works out well.
Yeah, because he's at flyweight at 125. He likes to say he's the world's biggest flyweight, right?
Yeah. He says that. But until I make my way down there, a little hint real quick. I'm trying to get my way down there too later in this year. So
okay. What are we sitting at right now?
Like $150-ish.
Okay. Woo!
Yeah.
Man.
That's not too far away. That's down there, but it's not too far away.
Yeah.
I will say the smaller you are,
bigger,
though, the harder it is to cut that weight off because you're already small. So it makes it.
Yeah. I'm going to do it intelligently, though. Get a nutritionist, do it all
smart.
right. Check all the boxes and shit like that.
That's good.
Absolutely. So, yeah, you're surrounded by, really just absolute, some of the best coaches, the best talent. That you can be as a mixed martial artist, and it shows. Obviously, you started your career at 4-0. One of the things that like really impressed me in watching your fights, and I noticed it in your third fight, which made you 3-0, but then in more so in your last fight, that I guess they stopped. You cut his lip up real bad, right? And the doctor stopped it after the second round before the third. Which, me personally, as a fan watching, I had you up 2-0. The announcers were kind of hyping it up a little bit, in my opinion, too much. They were trying to make it seem like it was closer than it was. But, in that second round, he did kind of get you taken down. He had your legs wrapped up, but you were able to control his posture extremely well. And then you wiggled your way out of it. That's when you did a lot of damage when you guys the referee stood you guys back up. You hit him with some like just absolute bombs.
Yeah. Yeah.
But your composure, what I noticed when he was kind of on top, you were sitting down, he had your legs wrapped up. And you stayed like incredibly calm and collected. You were kind of looking over to your coaches, getting advice on how to get out of the situation, advanced position, those types of things. Where do you think that comes from? Because a lot of people, and we've seen it even in the UFC, like even guys at the highest level in this sport aren't able to remain calm and focused in bad positions like that. And then they
Yeah.
make mistakes. And when you make mistakes, obviously, as we all know, you pay for them drastically. So where do you think that kind of composure that you have come from?
No, I appreciate you pointing that out, honestly. I know the exact, like, I can see myself doing it in that exact moment. I know exactly what you're talking about. But it comes from a few different things, man. Like, one, it's that my confidence in my team. It's like I trust these guys with my life, honestly. That's why I picked all these corners to be with
Sure.
me. And I just know that whatever they're telling me, they have a better perspective, I'm sure, of what to do. And, it's almost like a cheat code. If I can see my corner perfectly and I can hear them perfectly, and I'm right near them like I was in the cage, it'd be
Yeah.
kind of a fool to not, utilize my corner in that situation. But I don't know. It's also just reps. I've had quite a few fights at Cage Titans and stuff, and I've got myself much more calm than my amateur days when I was fighting for them as an amateur. And it's just reps and trust in my team for sure.
I do
Yeah,
have something I want to ask too, and you mentioned like your coaching and people in your corner being like making an impact on that scenario for say Murky. You may be able to point this out too. I'm trying to remember what fight it was recently that we were watching, but there was a scenario where someone was up against the cage and their coaches were kind of coaching them too close to the opponent, and it was almost telling the opponent.
counterproductive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Right.
almost working against them. But I was saying, I was thinking, like, like you were saying, like being able to take that advice from your coach while you guys are in that scenario. Have you had that situation happen before where it did kind of work against you counterproductively, or do you feel like any situation your corner's always been there in any kind of scenario, or have you ever had to like scramble your way out of something because your opponent heard something? I want to hear it from someone who may have been in that scenario before, because we just got to witness something.
Yeah, we were
similar
just
to that
talking
for the
about
first
this.
time,
Yeah, it's
so.
a good point.
Yeah, you know what? I actually have an exact situation in my mind, but it's a little bit flip flopped here. It was my last amateur fight that I had. My opponent, Siegfried Stevens, he's a really good fighter. He took me down at the end of the first round, and he took me down like right into his own corner. So his corner's giving him advice, and I'm just nullifying everything that they're saying. You know what I mean? So it kind of
Yeah.
worked in my favor, being able to hear them, like you guys said. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Okay. So there are scenarios where like that's what I wanted to hear, because
Yeah.
that's the first kind of time where I've noticed like an actual fighter like say like, "Hey, shut up! You're telling them what to do," essentially. So
I wonder if we're ever going to get to a point in MMA where coaches are like, in football, and then we'll start seeing like coaches do like the sketch stuff, like Tuesday,
just
Special
like
teams,
Omaha.
special players.
Yeah,
just
special
hand
teams,
signs and stuff.
special plays, special players. You can say it, I can say it.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
They'll start
That's
having
awesome.
they'll start having call signs or something. Omaha, Omaha.
We
Yeah.
do have a couple call signs. I'm obviously not going to say right now.
You
but
want to
we
leak
do.
them? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
I don't want to do that now.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, we ask everybody, especially, fighters that are kind of at the point in their career that you are. How did you get into this game? Like, where how did you end up with Cage Titans? How did you end up in mixed martial arts? I know you were a collegiate wrestler.
Yep.
I also know. We do our research, brother. Okay, we do our research here. I also know that you were a basketball player before a wrestler, right?
Oh man, so you know the sad ending of that little story, though.
Yeah. So give us the rundown. Like, how did you end up, getting into wrestling? Wrestling obviously took you to college, and then from college to kind of into mixed martial arts.
Right. Yeah. So basically, in a condensed story here, I was a little guy growing up. I got picked on, stuff like that. So I had my family put me into, Taekwondo, like traditional Taekwondo.
Okay.
And, I loved it, man. I had a really good instructor at the time. And I got my black belt through high school. But I was playing basketball, right? So I was like 7th, 8th grade, just doing like rec league shit like that. But I just loved it. So when I went into high school, I tried out for the JV basketball team, and I got cut from those tryouts. So that didn't end too well. But the wrestling coach, this guy, Coach Mike Riley and Tim Heitzman, man, they found me after I got cut from the basketball team. Said, "Listen, like, have you ever thought about wrestling?" I never did, but I gave it a try anyway. I was like, walking into my first practice like 93 pounds as a freshman. It was great.
Right.
And the lowest weight class is 106. So it's kind of,
106,
but no, I fell in love with it. I got my ass kicked a million times in wrestling. And then I finally made my way to, becoming better, placing at big tournaments and stuff like that. So it was just a big, like transformative sport for me at the high school age. So then I wanted to wrestle further on, and I went to Bridgewater State, and my head coach there, Frank Camisa, corners Joe Lozon for all of his MMA fights.
Oh, nice.
Yep. And he brought me to Lozon MMA one night to cut some weight. They had a sauna there, and I saw the atmosphere. I saw the gym. I saw fighters, hitting the bag, doing drills and stuff, and I was like, oh my god, like, there's hope after this wrestling's over. I'm going to do something still, so I fell in love with the gym. And after my last wrestling season, I joined Lozon MMA. And I think 3 months into training, I took my first amateur fight. And I was really like guided though with like some other like pro fighters, Randy Costa. I don't know if you know Randy Costa.
Yep.
He kind of took me under his wing early on into my career and like showed me like how to, cut weight as an MMA fighter, diet correctly for MMA, where to get the good work and stuff like that, how to get sponsorships and marketing, stuff like that. So he really just helped me out, and that really boosted me, well into my amateur career with like almost like a big head start. And then I had a 7-fight amateur career, turned pro, 4 pro fights in now. Hopefully have my 5th one in May, and that's where we're at.
Yeah. So you bring it up. So we're gonna ask. You got, we know the card is coming. Joe told us last week he's gonna be fighting on that card. Another friend of the Over the Octagon podcast, Joe Giannetti's fighting on that card that we spoke with. I mean, where are you at kind of in that process? Is the line signed and dotted yet, or, are we still kind of hoping to get something locked down?
So I'm assuming that this guy accepted because the name got sent to us, like it was a done deal, and we accepted on our end. So I'll just drop it here, man. I mean, May 25th, I'm looking to fight Noah Abdul or something like that.
Doesn't matter. Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Right.
He's the next one in line, man. And he's on the other side of the country. I saw he had some fights in Hawaii and Alaska, so he's traveling over here. I'm gonna welcome him with open arms and 2 swords, and we're gonna get the job done.
I love what they're teaching all over there at the Cartel, man. You guys, y'all's mentality is exactly what this show wants to see, man. You guys are some killers out there.
And Joel, like, just, I know, but again, like we talked about this with Joey Guns, like, Andrew, you're 4-0, never seen the judges. Your last fight, that dude was tough, and
He's a tough bastard.
Yeah, that dude was tough, man. He just kept coming. Like, I was watching that fight, like, when's this guy? Like, dude, this dude just keeps coming,
He's durable, man. He's durable, and he's got a crazy gas tank. And he really tested me though, and like I feel like that even boosted me more into my MMA career. You know what I mean? So like that fight was so necessary for me to have, and I've been tested now a little bit. So
but I mean, still never seen the judges.
Yeah, in your pro career, I mean, first 3 fights all in the first round. So going into that second, like you said, he was putting that pressure on you. I bet never having to get past that second, do you feel like you always were continuously working on that cardio, or did you ever just feel like, I'm a first round killer, like I don't see the 3rd round, and you kind of laid off of the cardio a little bit and focused more on the finishes? Or
You know what's funny, man? If you ask Joe Guns that, man, he'd be like, "Nah, I'm a first round killer." But
Right.
but you know what? As much as I love to get the job done in 1 round, man, like I'm always preparing for worst case scenario,
Sure.
quote unquote, where it's 3 rounds, 5 rounds. But even
Yeah.
worst case scenario, man, I'm a fucking performer. Like if you
That's
told
it.
me like my composure when I was had his posture wrapped up in that last fight, man, like I'm just calm in all the chaos. I'm a performer, man. So like when I say quote unquote worst case, a lot of the time it's for them too, because I just put it on these guys for like long durations. So
Yeah.
That's it.
And now, and like with wrestling in high school, I'm assuming you played other sports. You also ran cross country in high school too. Is that
you guys
correct?
did some digging, man.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what
We
we
don't
do.
play around. This is big time. This is big time stuff over here. But so like, I also for other sports ran cross country in high school, and it helped my speed tremendously. In addition to my cardio. So I mean, you've been doing that, since high school age. So how do you feel like? What's your confidence level at if you do get drug into the third round, which you've never seen before professionally, or when you do get into a title opportunity, which you know obviously if you keep on the path that you're on will be coming, and you may get into a fourth and a fifth round. What's your confidence level at in those later rounds?
Well, man, like I've always had full confidence in my gas tank, and everything, man. Cross country, man, like you did it, man. Like it just gives you this just a huge gas tank overall, just long term endurance. And
I
it showed
threw
in
up
my high
after
school
every
rest.
race, dude. Don't let me lie to you. I threw up after every race. It was
I mean, it
embarrassing.
does suck. It does suck. I'm not gonna lie. A quick funny story, man. When I was doing cross country, there was this other wrestler on the team, this kid Ryan Preston, and me and him would always like if we have like a 13-mile day or something like that, we have to
Yep.
run. We'd find little shortcuts. We'd find little shortcuts or places to hide and wait for the people to pass, then go back.
That sounds like the wrestler's way. A lot of people like Murky has never he didn't wrestle at all, but me
Right.
and the other co-hosts, I started wrestling when I was 5 years old, and I wrestled all the way through my high school, all the way through middle school, all the way through high school. So if there's one thing I can assure anybody, if they ever want to try it, it is the toughest sport when it comes to cardio, when it comes to anything. Like you think you see these guys go out there for 6 minutes and you think it's easy breezy. I guarantee you in the first 2 minutes, you're going to be feeling like you had just ran 50 freaking miles. But I can recall back in the day when I was in high school, we'd have practices and the coach would be like, all right, we're going to run this trail in the hills. And me and Nick are like, fuck this. We're going to find that shortcut, get around it. Like it was that wrestler special, like every wrestler
100%.
did it because we hated it. Every practice was grueling. Nobody wanted to run long distances. We wanted to get out there and just grind.
Work smarter, not harder, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and that's the first round finish way too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Why
exactly,
test the
exactly.
cardio when I can get you out of there in a minute and a half?
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
And
You
I
got the
know
skills
how
to do it.
we haven't been up to a cage Titan event. We keep saying we need to get up there. We need to get up there. But I know they do the after party or whatever. They always talk about the after party afterwards. So do it in a minute and a half. Get yourself the Cage Titans beer or whatever they do
Yeah,
afterwards,
yeah.
and
Celebrate a
call
little
it a
bit.
day. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's it.
unreal. They have some good Cage Titans IPAs they sell over there, man. They're not bad.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
we're gonna be
absolutely.
out to an event soon. I mean, we're all kind of across the United States. He's up in Delaware, and I'm down. Me and Nick are actually down in Georgia, so we're a
All
little
right.
bit way down on the map. But yeah, our ultimate goal, since we've gotten such a good relationship and been able to speak to so many Cage Titan fighters, is to get out there one day and get in there and actually speak to all you guys in person.
Maybe
And
May. Maybe in
maybe,
May.
Dude,
maybe May.
let me tell you, there really is. I'm not just trying to sell this fight here or anything, but I
Yeah.
am gonna.
Yeah.
There's nothing like Cage Titans, man. Like when you go into that atmosphere, I mean, you've seen pictures, I'm sure, and all that
Oh
stuff
yeah,
and
We
videos,
watch
but
them all
yeah.
live.
We watch them, so
it's
we
a
watch all the.
coliseum. It really is. I mean,
Yep.
everybody's on top of each other, so close to the cage, and the atmosphere is crazy. And every fight fan there is a true fight fan. It's not like some people dicking around, fucking. You know what I mean? Like these are some good
That
people that come
that
to these
actually
shows.
brings up another something else I wanted to ask you about too, because I mean, in like your last two fights that I remember seeing and watching, the crowd chants your name, right?
Yep.
And the first time I heard it was your third professional fight. And I remember thinking in my head, like, this is this motherfucker's third professional fight. How is the crowd chanting Valdina,
Yeah.
Valdina? And I'm thinking, like, so, I mean, how do you think you've built like kind of this, such a big like fan base at those events so quickly?
Well, I think there's a few factors here. So like when I was an amateur, I was going, back to back to back to back to back fights. Every single card, 5 in a row that I would be going, banging them out. And on top of that, of fans just seeing me every single show, especially the ones that go consistently.
Right.
They see me fight every single month, every other month or so. And I'm not a boring fighter, man. Like I'll say it, I'm trying to be humble here, but like I
Sure.
like to finish fights. I like to put damage on people, and that's what the fans love to see. And now as a pro, I went on a tear of back to back to back to back, 4 fights in a row, 4 cards in a row,
Yep.
4 finishes in a row, and that's what fans
Immense.
like, man. So it's
Right.
kind of I think
is.
I
Yeah.
open up a lot on social media too, so I think a lot of people see that like this is my true passion. I invest everything I have into the sport, and
Yeah.
I'm very thankful for all those fans, honestly, because I don't sell the most tickets, but they show their love every single time I'm there. So
Yeah, and I notice, like, at least from my perspective, and I mean, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but like the team atmosphere that you guys have, the New England Cartel guys, you guys have together, we already talked about a little bit, but there's a few of you fight together on the same card on Cage Titans events. I would imagine that like your fans are their fans and their fans are your fans. And, so like, I'm sure the same people that are rooting for Joey Guns are going to be the same ones, screaming for you to get a finish, like all, both ways. Right. So, I mean, that definitely has to help the case as well.
yeah, 100%. And New England Cartel for sure. Of course, like we have a lot of talented fighters and stuff that are also fighting on the same card. But I have to give respect here. Like I came from Lausanne MMA,
Yep.
and Lausanne's is always like home crowd there. So and they have great fighters. Joe Lausanne's always cornering and stuff. So like
Of course.
they have tons of fighters that are always on the card, and they have tons of fans that they all root for us as well. So it's all like you said, a big community of like team and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I do
we
have oh, go ahead, Murky. I was going to ask him something too, because I was skimming through his record again just to make sure I was right before I asked this. But
go ahead.
I'm looking at your record too. So you're 4 professional fights in, obviously 4 finishes, but you never had a submission all the way up until your professional career, and then you bang out 3 in a row. Where did that? I want to know, like, where did that kind of come from? Like, did you start working more on that? Did this kind of like, what? Hey, I want to try something new. And your first pro fight was a finish in submission, so you're like, I want to work on that even more. Or because I mean, that's kind of crazy. You never had one single submission, but then all of a sudden you jump in your professional career and then you bang out 3 wins by submission in a row.
Yeah, it was, I always try to take the path of like almost like least resistance in a way where like it's the easiest path to victory as well. And I knew those first 3 guys didn't have as good of grappling as I did.
Okay.
And also as an amateur though, I think I really, my last amateur fight to my first pro fight, I can tell you straight honesty here. Like I humbled so much after that loss where like, a lot of these times in the amateur fights, I don't know if it was an immature thing or not, but it was like I just wanted to fucking bang. I just wanted to like go out there and knock people out and stuff. And it happens sometimes, but I feel like after realizing a little bit after a loss like that in my last amateur fight, I flipped the script and said, okay, I have avenues of winning a fight in so many different ways here. So why don't we just like tone it down, get calm in there, and just pick the one I'm going to win the fastest. And that's kind of how I fight now.
That's cool. Yeah, I was just curious because I mean, it's kind of weird to see you went your whole amateur career. I mean, you're talking what, 8 fights, 9 fights in your amateur career, not even one win by submission, but then you jump professionally and all of a sudden you're a black belt in jiu-jitsu. You're out there just getting it in. So
Lausanne MMA has great grappling though. Joe Lausanne teaches great no-gi over there, and he helped me a lot with just positional grappling and submissions.
You prefer gi or no gi?
No gi, no gi. Come
Yeah,
on
I
now.
don't think if anybody says gi, I gotta look at them a little different. It's like, come
No,
on, man.
no. I tried it for a
No,
little bit,
no,
man,
no,
but
gi.
it just wasn't. I don't know. It wasn't
Yeah.
really.
It's way different, that's for sure.
Oh, heck
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
they
it's
just
way
hold you a
different.
little bit. You don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So we're thinking at least that we have a fight confirmed in May. Is man, I messed this up the last time we were talking to Joe too. Cage Titan
64.
64.
Yeah.
Yes,
We asked Joey Guns that. I was like, what is it, Cage Titan 63, 64? He was like, I don't fucking care.
He's like, I don't care. I don't know. I'm just gonna go
I
out
don't
there
know.
and
Whatever.
Joey
I was
Guns,
like,
son.
we were both like, fuck yeah, dude. That's
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And then you know what he said after that. For
America, baby.
Yeah,
America.
for America. We were like,
Doesn't
fuck yeah,
matter.
dude, for America. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I think we're actually both gonna rock some American flag dethrones for this fight
Hell
too.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because his opponent, I think, is coming over from like Afghanistan or something somewhere in the Middle East.
Pakistan, yeah.
Pakistan, yeah. So yeah, it's going to be a good showing from you guys. Again, you know, we'll be watching for sure. You know, maybe we'll catch a flight out there some last minute shit, make a surprise.
Never
Yes,
know.
sir. We'll
You're
party it
shaking
up after.
Yeah, absolutely. But so, all right. So I did want to talk to you about one more thing before we let you go. You just went out to Atlantic City.
Yep.
You know, with Connor Matthews. You've already mentioned Mom's Basement. What was, you know, I know, and we said the same thing to Joe as well. Like, I know it wasn't the result necessarily that you guys went out there to get, or that Connor Matthews went out there to get. But for you guys that are coming up into the sport, what was that experience like? You know, throughout the entire weekend. I mean, from start to finish, you know, spending the time out there, you know, kind of staying all with each other from the UFC event. I mean, I'm sure it was massive. What was that kind of like from your perspective?
Oh, it was a great experience. You know, everything. I'm a big believer in this. You can tell me to hush up if not, but like I think everything happens for a reason. And you know,
Sure.
Connor took the L, so you know, he's gonna come back better. You know, he calls himself two-time Matthews because you know, it takes him 2 times to get anything done right. 2 contender series shots. You know, his special forces. He was washed back and then ended up passing. So shit like that. He'll come back better, and you guys are all gonna be like, holy shit, this is a whole different fighter.
Yeah,
But anyway,
that's like what Dustin Poirier says. I've never lost twice.
yeah,
True.
exactly.
That's what he says. He's like, I might take an L, but damn sure if I come back, I'm walking away with a W. So
yeah, with a vengeance. But no, the trip was awesome. Joe Poirier's actually gone on like a few different fight trips like that. Gone to the PI with the team and stuff. This was my first time traveling with the team to Atlantic City. Cool. It was freaking awesome. I followed Connor around to like different like media events that he had for the UFC, and you know, seeing the weigh-ins and stuff like that, and then just being there for the fight and seeing my teammate walking out and shit. It just feels a lot more attainable, you know, for all of us. So it's good. It's good to get that exposure.
Yeah. And that's kind of, I guess, why I asked, right? Like, when you see a guy that you're surrounded with, you know, probably on a daily basis almost, right? Fight on the biggest stage. Thank God it wasn't in the Apex. That's what we've been saying for the last 3 weeks. Thank God we got like a live UFC fight night again.
Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous. I don't know why they still do that.
Cage Titan needs to give them some pointers on how to fill up a small arena.
I know, yeah.
You know?
But so, you know, you get to this crowd in Atlantic City, you know, just the whole thing. So I'm sure that's like, you know, a little bit different than kind of the environment that you're used to up until this point in your fighting career. But you can kind of see what to expect and what's to come, and make it, you know, an easier transition when you get there. Right. So that's the goal. And Joe said the same thing to us, right? Like it makes it, you can kind of see yourself there. Like it makes it like seem that much more attainable. It's not like this crazy pipe dream anymore. It's like, dude, we're here. Like we're here, you know?
We're on the cusp, man. We're on the cusp.
That's right. And I mean, you know, you keep never losing and you stay an undefeated fighter, it becomes, you know, a reality sometimes a lot quicker than others, right? I mean,
Yes, sir.
Bo Nickel's on the main card of UFC 300 and he's fucking 5-0 somehow. So like,
Yeah.
no hate at all. We're big fans, but like, you just never know. You just
Exactly. Yeah,
never
you're
know
right.
where
You're
you
right.
can be, right? I mean, in a year's time, this sport is crazy and you never know what can happen. People take short notice opportunities all the time and take advantage of them. So you just never know. But
Exactly,
again,
man.
man, I want to thank you for coming on with us. And if you have any, I'll give you a minute. Like if you have any, social medias you want to shout out, or people, coaches, sponsors, anything like that, the floor is yours.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me on. This was good talking to you guys. You guys are pretty professional at what you do, even though you like to be the degenerate podcast here. But
That's right.
That's it.
But I dig what you guys are about and everything. But shout out to my team, New England Cartel, Mom's Basement, Skill of Strength. Thank you all to my coaches. You guys are helping me get to where I need to be. And Cage Titan 64, baby. We're going for 5-0, 5 finishes. Let's fuck this kid up. Send it back to the other side of the country. It's Gladiator season. Let's go.
It's gonna be a rough plane ride home, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I
sir.
love that.
Well, listen, man. Thank you again so much, Joel. You got anything else before we let him out of here?
Yeah, no, I do. So since you and Joe have both been on the podcast and you guys are potentially both going to be fighting on the same card, we may need to link up with you guys to potentially get you guys to get us one of them Cage Titan posters that they give out and put a little ink on there for us so we can hang it up in one of our podcast rooms.
Okay.
Since you guys know some guests.
We gotta do a little business.
Yeah,
we gotta do a little business here.
Hit me up after this, and we'll figure that out.
Word.
Yeah, man, we will. But yeah, no, I appreciate it. I know Murky does too. Our ultimate goal was from the beginning of this was not just to be the guys who want to talk to the people from the top. We want to meet the guys who are making their wave and paving the way for this new generation of MMA, guys who are coming up in the local scenes who are trying to make their way to the top. So we appreciate you coming on, sharing your story, and man, we look forward to your fight. We'll definitely be here. We'll be watching it. You got fans that like we always say, if you're on our show, we're always going to be a fan of you, man. So we appreciate it.
Up.
I appreciate it, fellas. Thank you. That means a lot. It's gonna be a good fight. Get ready.
Hell yeah. We're ready, dude. We'll catch you next time, man.
Thank you so much.
All right. Later, guys.
Later.
See you, brother.